is Yosemite Valley. In fact, the first episode of our 4-episode journey in which I'm going to talk about the process of creating this very park, what you can see over here. But let's jump back to how it all started. In fact, what you see in front of you right now is the very first finished project I had at the beginning. So basically the first episode I ever launched of this project, which is still to date one of the most successful videos I have on YouTube, but also in terms of series, this is by far one of the most well-received videos in terms of general Planet Zoo, I think, and it just means so much to me. And today I'm going to talk you through the idea behind Yosemite Valley before we actually look around, and I'm going to talk you through a couple of points why I started the project in the first place and what were the main factors behind it, and also how I got to the layout and all the kind of things. Here's a very important thing. Please, in case you want to take part in the next episode, make sure to put down your questions and everything you want to know about this project, because the 5th episode of this whole mini-series, I should call it, is basically a Q&A in which I'm going to answer all of your questions regarding this project, because I think the majority of this channel has spent a tremendous amount of time watching the videos of Yosemite Valley, so maybe you also have like a kind of emotional connection to it. If you do have some kind of connection to the project, also let me know in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's talk about this wonderful project over here. So Yosemite Valley was my very first big Planet Zoo project. This has been in my mind for quite a while now. As maybe some of you still know, I had a series in Planet Coaster before that was called Isla Napali, and was a theme park set to an Hawaiian island, basically a small island next to the Hawaiian island. And then, you know, the idea was that an old kind of fisherman's village was turned into a theme park. Now, obviously that was like a super tropical theme and all that kind of things. And in 2018, we've been to our honeymoon, and this was actually to Hawaii, first of all. But then later on in the year, we have been to San Francisco, but we didn't make it to Yosemite Valley because, well, I'm stupid. I'm a German, and I haven't been educated about the distances of the US, okay? You know, I saw that map, and I was like, oh, wait, look at that. Yosemite is super close to San Francisco. It's not. Spoiler, it's not. It's just me being stupid, because obviously the relation of maps in Europe and the US is kind of different, you know? Because it's relative and it's not like the same everywhere. And I was like, oh, that's super close. Yeah, well, with that complete and utter misjudgment, obviously we didn't do Yosemite Valley when we've been there. But I was so fascinated from the idea of going there at some point, and just in general I wanted to try something completely different. Most of the people were starting like city zoos and modern zoos, and you know, I wanted to have like a story behind that, and this is why we're here, the story of Yosemite Valley. Now you can see that this is the very first episode, because a lot of the landmarks and you know, the big iconic things we've built over time just don't exist. The only thing that exists is like the base layout of our parking lot, which mostly stayed the same. A couple of things have changed. Later on we will have a connection over here. We've got a train depot is gonna go here. We changed some of the bridges. The parking lot is definitely different. And this roundabout has been redone. Yeah, a couple of things have been done. The waterfall already exists into the bison habitat, but all over the place, or like, actually this was all over the place, because many of the things have been completely reshaped. This mountain over here, as you can see, is already reshaped a little bit. Same goes for that one. And the rest is copy-paste. So this one is the base mountain, has been copy-pasted, and then I changed a couple of things. By the way, if you're interested and you want to watch the first episode, because this is new to you, the first episode is in the link down below in the description, and if I remember, I'm gonna put this also to the end card, so you can easily click that. Okay, now let's have a little look at the entrance building itself, because the entrance building itself is more or less the key to the overall design. And I will actually try to blend in a couple of images of how it will look later while I'm flying through here, so you get a bit of a storyline. Now, it's very important for me to state that this design, like the architecture of the entrance, was the main inspiration. There is a hotel in Yosemite Valley, like in the actual valley, that is pretty nice and looks pretty much similar to this building over here. It has this kind of the ongoing theme of like turquoise wood paired with normal wood color and the kind of broken stone wall appearance. And you can tell that this was built very early on in the game, because many of the pieces we nowadays have, we didn't have back then. And still, I think it looks really cool with like these kind of sunken in windows and, you know, just a couple of things here. Also with the roof design. The roof design was also inspired by one of the kind of tilted roofs they have in that hotel. We've got a little ATM positioned over here, and we have a more likely theme park-ish entrance by having these three kind of separate entrance archways, in which realistically you could also have like an info kiosk, but the info kiosk will be later on in this spot. Oh my god, let me just also turn around and maybe I can blend in another screenshot over here. Yeah, so really this was meant to be the starting point of Yosemite Valley, and it was. Have I had the idea that this was going to be such a big series of over 100 episodes? I think I definitely did not expect that at this time. But yeah, so there are a couple of more things we have to talk about before we actually call this episode one a day. I want to make these videos rather short, so don't expect this to be super long, because it's mainly just talking. But hopefully you guys are interested in the story behind, because obviously this is a project that went for over 4 years now, which is ridiculous thinking about this. But yeah, so I think the main part is that I wanted to make this whole thing sunken down into an actual valley. So as you can see over here, this is a little bit raised. And also not sure if I can position that correctly, but I'm trying to blend in how it looks now, so you have an idea of what exactly changed in this area. So it's really like a matter of imagination at this point, because I made sure that everything goes down a little bit to have a bit more of an interesting view into the valley. So the idea was, and still is, that you come into the zoo, and from over here you can see that it blends in with the horizon, you know. We obviously have half dome now on the right hand side here, so that makes a lot of sense, because that is definitely a focal point for you as a guest, you know. But I wanted to make it the way that once you stand over here, the whole park opens for you, like really as if you are going for a hike, and then, you know, you just walk through the environment, through the nature, and at some point you come to these like kind of open spaces where like everything opens up to you, and then you have this like huge valley in front of you. And this was the main idea. Obviously I didn't want to put the entrance even higher, so obviously the effect could have been way more cool, but realistically also with the parking lot and stuff, it couldn't be that high on into Yosemite Valley. So I just made sure that this was like a little bit raised, but not too heavily raised. But yeah, so this is that, and there's a lot more to talk about in the second episode, but I just wanted to give you the basic background of this project. So yeah, Yosemite Valley, as I said, was kind of a missed opportunity once we've been to the US. I still haven't been there, so huge passion, and I wanted to do something that was a little bit against the overall idea that was going on in the Planet Zoo community. I wanted to do something else, also maybe in a map type that not everyone was going to play in, because a lot of people went for the European or even like the South American part of, or like maybe more southern, because South America was a DLC that came in just a little bit later. But the influence of DLCs will be a specific topic for the other episodes. Now, that said, we are mostly done now with our first episode. Let me just fly over and give you a little bit of an overview, because we will do this at the end of each episode, so you have an idea of how the park in the next episode is going to be looking. I should say how it looked a little bit later on, because a lot has changed. So yeah, let's call it a day, compare this with the finished park, and then we are going to have a good time, I guess, in the next episode. Make sure to keep down your feedback, and again, if you want to rewatch it or just, you know, delve into a bit of nostalgia, the first episode should be on your screen right now, and the same goes for a potential other video you may want to watch. If you want to support the channel, this is the best way to do it. Just watch the next video, tell the algorithm you love it, and if not, just have a good time, and goodbye.